Welcome to Soup Crafts. I'm Soup, and today we're going to open door number 12. Ooh, door number 12 is a telephone. Looks like it's going to be a die set. And it is. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, looks to be a 3-piece die set. I'm going to think about this for a little while, and when I come back, we'll make a project. Okay, I'm back with a project for our day 12 telephone. Here's what we're going to be making today. I've already got all of my pieces cut out, and the corners on my ATC base are already rounded. The stencil I'm using is from Vicki Boutin. The number is 340-30517. I've got just a silicone mat laid out so my card doesn't slide around, and I'm just going to put that any old place on there. I will be using Hickory Smoke. This is a very scripty stencil, and I found that some of these kind of like to pop up a little, so I am just going in a vertical line. Here's the big reveal. This is just for a subtle texture on the background. I've got all my little pieces cut out, and I'm going to go ahead and start with assembling the phone. Okay, in order to cut out the phone, I cut out several of the black layer in the biggest piece. I cut out several in a different black for the cord. And then on this one, in order to get the different colors for the pieces, I had to cut out several in this black shimmer paper, and then in whatever color I wanted the phone to be. Now for this, when I cut this out, I saved the inner circle so that I could use it with this dial. There isn't anything for the back. So if I were to just do it the way it is, this would be on a black background, and I don't know, I just didn't like that. I wanted the background to be white. That's how I remember my phone, my rotary phone being. So I found a circle die that was close to the right size. It was the third one in, which is 0.95 inches. I tried using a 3/4 inch punch, and that wasn't quite big enough. This little space down here is quite tiny. So to do this, I'm going to first glue on this white circle, and I'm going to just take it down and make sure that I don't go past the bottom on this little tiny ledge. And then I also don't want to go above on the top part. So this part is a little bit tricky, but it's doable. I wish that they would have included a piece to go on the back that you could just cut out in a different color. But there we go. We have that now. Okay, then I'll take my little dialer, and I'm just going to put some little dots of glue and then smush those. And then this piece should fit right inside of that circle. Then I'll take my littlest dot, and I'll just put a dot of glue in the middle there, and then just put that little center in. Now I can take this and glue it onto the black base. I'm lining this up so that this center part above the dialer is centered with the black. And then I'm just going to pick it up and make sure that I get these sides on, that they're not going over. Okay, and that looks pretty good. I don't want to deform this in any way, so I'm just going to lay it on my surface, add a little glue, squish it out, and then I'm going to lay this on there. I'll line that up with the phone and line that up with the bottom, and now my phone is assembled. Now we'll add the letters to the card base, and I have marked off where the corners go, and then I'll just line them up on this line on my mat, essentially. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but there's kind of a raised center in these letters where they went through the die. And the die for this that I used was this Simon Says stamp flipped hello, and it just cuts out these letters. So I used 2 pieces of paper at a time, which may be why some of my edges are kind of rough. But that way I could cut out 4 hellos at once. I'm going to use my tweezers to do this. And then I just want this one pretty close to the edge, and I'm imagining that line going all the way through. And then I'm going to lay that down. Now I'm going to use a little scraper to burnish this letter on. That's going to not only squish out the glue, but it also squishes out those die marks. Next, I'm going to do the O. And again, I'm going to imagine that line going all the way through. It's easiest to see right here. I'll put that down and then I'll burnish this. And it's important to hold it down because if you try to burnish it without holding it down, it just moves the letter. Now this way I can kind of center the rest of these in there. Okay, now we just have to put our telephone on. Okay, that's our day 12 telephone ATC done. There are a lot of extra parts. These, I think, kind of look like little film strip rolls, so I don't know, maybe I could do something with those. I don't know what I could do with the phones without all of the other pieces. Maybe I could just use those and the black ones. I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening with these. Maybe nothing. As with many of these sets, I made 8 of these. Here's the one that we made together today. Hello, and thanks for watching. Bye.